from A to Z Sleep Solutions. Welcome back to our Free Question Wednesday. I'm so excited that you guys are here, ready to be able to find those answers. I'm a little bit more casual tonight. I've just come off working kind of 5 12-hour overshifts overnight. But as promised, I am sitting here coming to be able to answer. Got my friend, some nice Angry Orchard, who's going to help me dive into the questions. So we have a little bit, not as many questions tonight, so that's absolutely awesome. It means that I'm doing a great job being able to help you guys, set you guys up for success. Or you guys have reached out one-on-one, which is fantastic. So Elizabeth from Facebook says, hi, my 3-year-old wakes up in the morning around 8 o'clock. If he naps, he usually will nap around 1, 2 o'clock and sleep for about 2 hours. However, when he naps, he really struggles to fall asleep at bedtime. Even if he goes in his bed at 8 o'clock, it sometimes stays awake until 10:45. But if he doesn't nap, he falls asleep at 7 o'clock without a problem. Is he done napping? I feel like he's going to struggle without a nap though. So such a great question. It is around 2.5 to 4 years of age when we know our little ones are ready to make that transition from 1 nap a day down to 0 naps a day. And what you can see is when your little one is actually napping, their drive for sleep and falling asleep at nighttime is so much lower that it's taking him nearly 3 hours to be able to go down to sleep. So what I suggest you do is let's just start to drop it right down. So let's only give him maybe 30 to 45 minutes. I know that's a really, really big jump, but what happens is we want to slowly adjust our little one's body to be able to staying awake for that longer period of time. Sometimes if we just jump in to not having a nap on those days, we can get all of a sudden caught into an overtired cycle, okay? So let's kind of maybe just slowly ease in. Maybe one day we don't give him a nap, and then definitely be okay with him bringing bedtime down to 7 o'clock, which is fine. Bringing dinner early, so we may have dinner between 5 and 6, have that quiet time and have him in bed at 7. And hopefully he'll actually sleep a good 12 to 13 hours overnight time. And then the next day, give him that rest time in his room. And if he falls asleep, just keep it short, around 30 to 45 minutes. So we're going to slowly just let the body adjust to that longer awake window as well. My little guy is 3 in like 2 weeks, and for the last 2 days he's just been playing in his room because we always have rest quiet time. That's really, really important, and he's actually fallen asleep, which is really amazing because obviously his body was tired enough. I keep it really short for 30 minutes so he gets tired enough to not lose that drive for overnight sleep, because we always have to remember overnight sleep is kingpin. We need to make sure that they can still transition through their non-REM and REM sleep cycles overnight. So we're still aiming for that 11 to 12 hours overnight sleep. So I hope that helps, Elizabeth. Just slowly do that, and you still find that he might sleep every 2 to 3 days, which is absolutely fine. Okay, let's go on to Instagram questions now. So Candice asks, at what age is it acceptable to stop offering night feeding? So my baby is 7 months, over 16 pounds, and I feel like this is starting to interfere with her nighttime sleep. So that's a really great question. It's around 7, 8, 9 months that we can start reducing those feeds and completely dropping it out, especially if they start to interfering with those nighttime sleep. What we need to do is we just need to make sure that they're on solids and they're eating some good source of starting to do that protein, because protein is broken down slowly by the body. And what happens is it's going to prevent those overnight wakings because it's broken down slowly. That protein in their body, what happens is it prevents getting hungry because it's broken down body, so the body doesn't wake up all of a sudden with a surge of low blood sugar, which causes more adrenaline to be released in the body. So you can just try. So at 7 months, I would expect a good 6 to 8 hours before actually having a feeding. And then what's happened is, so if your baby's waking at the 6-hour mark, let's see if we can resettle and just push it. So maybe do 6 hours night 1, 7 hours night 2, 8 hours night 3. And quite often when we're doing the resettling with our little one, they're actually going to maybe sleep for 9 hours and show you, hey mama, at this age I can actually sleep 9 hours. I can have a feed, and then I'm going to go back to sleep for another 2 to 3 hours. So really allow them just until you get on those 3 meals a day and getting those good sources of protein as well. Just see how well they can set the bar until we can completely eliminate that feed as well. In saying that, I have had 4 5 months old purely breastfed babies who are absolutely fine sleeping that 12 hours as well. But let's start off like slowly, do the 6 hours, do the 7 hours, and let's see how well your baby can be able to set the bar on that one. Okay, so Kdbudde says, I've got a 3.5-year-old now who refuses naps now. For the last 3 months. Naps maybe once every 2 weeks. She wakes at 5:30 a.m. every day and was going to sleep within 5 minutes at 6 o'clock. But the past week, she's even been struggling to go to bed and just wants to stay up until Lord knows when and just cries and cries and cries. What gives? So I'm probably thinking that your little one is in an overtide cycle. And when they're in an overtide cycle, we start to see those early morning wakings start to creep in. They start to wake up earlier and earlier, and at nighttime sleep, it's almost like they get that second wind. Just like we're tired, if we push through it, just like I am now, and I'm pushing through my tiredness, we can keep going and going and going. This is what's happening with your little one as well. So what I would suggest you guys do is when she wakes at 5:30 a.m., actually do not allow her to get out of her bed until 6:30, 7 o'clock, because what happens is there's actually another deep non-REM sleep cycle just before 6 o'clock, just kind of around the 11-hour mark, and often if they miss that, this is going to start that overtide cycle as well. Really emphasize rest time after lunch. I think that's really important that our little ones understand that for their bodies, because we're so busy, it's actually really good to have some quiet rest time as well, and then bringing dinner early, and then be able to come up with having that really good predictable structured routine before you be able to settle them down, you know, between 6 and 7 o'clock. You should check out my toddler preschool workshop. We're about to rename it, yeah, Uncaged Toddlers. So it's really about life outside of the crib and what to expect. We address those early morning wakings. Okay to wake clocks are fantastic tools, but my online course covers everything on the different sleep coaching techniques. We're going to look at nutrition. We're going to look at naps and rest time. But it really focuses on how do we build that positive association for a long-term relationship and positive relationship with sleep, because we don't want to cause unnecessary anxiety with our little ones when we're trying to set them down and come up with that good routine and structure. So it comes with a fantastic bed book. It's also got games as well. It's got the routines, that's got the pictures for your little one. So you guys can work together about coming up with your routines to be able to help make this transition as positive as possible. So if you go to www.toddlersleepcourse.com or click on my link in my profile, you'll be able to get full access and everything is accessible for 6 months. So I would highly recommend that for you guys to be able to get everything kind of bring together and on track as well. Okay, so Aklmandy, when do we stop naps? My son will be 5 on August the 7th, and he still naps about an hour a day. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely amazing. So I think when we talk about naps and when we talk about dropping naps, it's from about 2.5 to 4 years of age. You can have the exception of the rules if it's not influencing nighttime sleep, because nighttime sleep is kingpin. We want to make sure that our little ones are sleeping a good 11 to 12 hours overnight time, because they go through different sleep cycles of non-REM and REM sleep cycles, okay? If for some odd reason our little ones are still napping during the day but only getting maybe 8, 9, 10 hours at nighttime, we actually know that they're stuck in a tired cycle, so they can't stretch out overnight because the naps are taken away from nighttime sleep, and vice versa as well. They're not being able to sleep well over nighttime because of their naps, okay? And also with those naps, when they're still napping during the day, they lose that drive to become tired enough to not only fall asleep at an age-appropriate bedtime, but be able to stay asleep for that 11 to 12 hours as well. So they're the big keys that we're looking at for when our little ones are ready to transition away from that nap, and then to be able to go down for like rest time or completely go away from that as well. If for some odd reason your child has a higher sleep need and they're doing okay with naps and it's not interfering with their nighttime sleep, that you're not having any bedtime battles, they're still sleeping 11 to 12 hours a night, that's absolutely fantastic. Enjoy, but kind of know that they're the different signs that you're going to be looking for when you're ready to be able to transition. And then just do it slowly, whether you cut it down to maybe 30 minutes, you know, and then maybe not nap one day and have a nap the second day. So we can slowly adjust the body to be able to stretching through those longer awake windows. And then of course we bring the bedtime a little bit early as well to prevent them going to bed overtired, just as they're starting to be able to adjust. Okay, I hope that really helps. Okay, so Rebekah.canning, so she met me at Beyond the Bump, which was an amazing workshop a while back. So her daughter's now 4.5 months and she fights sleep all day long until she hits a wall, and sometimes this wall can be as late as 11 o'clock at night. We've been trying to implement some strategies and becoming really more consistent nap sleep routine, putting her to bed earlier after bedtime routine about 7 o'clock, going outside before the nap, which is fantastic, having her naps in the same darkened room as her night machine with the sound machine. So what we've found is that while all these things to work to encourage sleepiness, my daughter is onto us and she fights me even more harder now when I try to put her down for naps, as evidenced by escalating high-pitched whining and grating cries. Even if I say the words "it's time for nap" or start heading towards our room or the darker room, she starts up. So can you give me advice specifically on how to help her stop fighting sleep so hard, which counteracts any feelings of sleepiness she might have? Maybe I should mention, I'm told I did the same as a baby and wasn't a good napper, so there could be a genetic factor. Yeah, there could be, but biologically, sleep is still really important. So we still need to make sure you know, that we're still giving our little ones every opportunity to be able to go down to sleep. And I think you're doing some fantastic things about, you got the right environment, you're starting to come up with a routine. 4.5 months, depending on the temperament, which obviously you're looking at maybe a little bit more sensitive temperament, they can really struggle with naps, and it could take about another month for those pieces to come together. But the more practice your little one does, the better these pieces come together. I've just worked with he was 18 weeks, so around the same age as your little wee guy, and very much like this, would not settle down to 11 o'clock at night, you know, was very hard on naps. And it's taken us a good probably 10 days for these pieces to come together. But the more practice your little one gets about self-settling and resettling, the more opportunities we give them, the more these pieces come together as well. Sometimes they may be getting really fussy those time for naps because we may be putting them down too late. So maybe have a look at those awake windows. So if you're starting your day at 7, let's start those settling routines maybe at 8:45, 8:50 to be able to actually have them down in bed by 9 o'clock. So watching that 2-hour maximum awake window, getting them to settle down as well. And then same between nap 1 and nap 2, watching that awake window, maybe 2 hours is the max. Start going for kind of feeding, then going up for that walk outside and actually getting them down in their crib maybe just before the 2 hours. So before they move into that overtiredness, because for some kids, there's only a couple of minutes between when they're tired and then all of a sudden they get into overtired mode and then they're really fighting you. And then make sure that your settling technique is really suited to your little one's temperament and your obviously parenting style. Watching the anxiety that does come into play as well. So if you get quite anxious with her crying, that can actually add to it as well. So I always say fake it until you guys can make it. So the more confident that you're feeling, you know, the more that that's going to be able to be portrayed and your little one will be able to settle down. I hope that helps. Definitely come back if you're having, if you feel like you need any more support. Come mid-August, I will be having my online naps masterclass, and I'm so excited for this to be launched because this is going to give every family around the world the opportunities to delve deep and get the help and the tool that they need to be able to become experts in naps for their little ones. And yeah, so watch that will be coming. Hey guys, well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys feel like you've had your question answered. You guys are able to get kind of those tools that you're needing to be able to succeed. If you ever feel like you're needing more one-on-one support, please reach out. Me and my team, this is what we're passionate about. We love working with families one-on-one. There's definitely no sleep issue that we cannot tackle and come up with a plan. And we'd love just to come and walk alongside your family while we're supporting you through your sleep goals. Hey, enjoy the rest of your evening and thanks so much. And if you want to, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Hey, talk to you guys later. Bye.